Okay. The table, the table that is sitting here are those of us who were here in the 30s and 40s. I happen to have skipped. I was here during the 40s and 50s as well, but I'm loyal. This is my picture then. My name is Ruth Feldman Goldstein.
I'm Jean Van Buskirk Humphrey.
Mine is Vivian Smith Shears.
And I am Estelle Tavis Neidish Brown.
And my name is Selma Hoffman Rosner.
Selma, you're on, kid.
I'm on, okay. First of all, I want to tell you about Florence Rogge, who was our choreographer. And she brought ballet to the masses of America, because anyone that came to the music hall saw ballet for the first time. And she really inspired many others to come to the feeling of what ballet is, was, and will always be. I have one small thing I can tell you that's very comical. I got married while I was dancing at the music hall. I was there from 1939 to 1944. With one exception, I danced at the 1940 World's Fair. But I was invited to, I was getting married on the 1944, and before we got married that day, I took my husband to the music hall to introduce him to all the girls. And of course, they were all very excited. And as we left the theater, old toe shoes came thrown out the window at both of us.
Now, Vivian, would you give it?
What else do you want to say? What else would you like to say?
Well, that's what I was told to say.
Oh, you can say
I
anything
can
you
say
like.
many things. I flew up here from Florida just to attend this meeting. I came yesterday and I'm leaving tomorrow. And it's a pleasure to see all of you here. And I hope this really gets you started on what ballet is. It was a shame when the music hall closed and we were not able to continue. But that's the way things in life go on. And with that, I'll pass you to the next lady.
Yes, give it to Vivian, darling. Yes, Vivian, I understand that you went into the music hall without auditioning. Who on earth did you know over there? You walked right in.
Well, I had been in the Russian ballet for several years, and I had to leave because I had an appendectomy. And then one of the choreographers at the music hall, from the ballet, had called Rogi about me because they were going to go to Australia. And I was away, had been recovering from the appendectomy, and they were about to leave for Australia when I was almost ready to join them. And I was afraid that I'd get stranded down there and begged off. And that's when they gave a recommendation to Florence Rogge. And of course, that's what happened to the company. They didn't get stranded down there. So anyway, then I went, that's how I
Tell
went
me,
there.
tell
and
me,
I
Vivian.
met my husband there. He was a singer in the Glee Club. And it was a very wonderful experience. I was terribly excited about it. I just couldn't believe the discipline and the great choreography that she gave to the ballet. And she was very, very precise and demanding. And I liked that. I thought that was great. And it was great for the ballet. So I'm very fortunate to have been there.
Thank you, darling. You were all terribly very young at the time, really. There were a lot of 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds. There were 17, 18. And this gal here was 16 years old, and going into the ballet. What happened to you, darling?
Well, when you're 16, you have to have working papers. So I got the form, and it was filled out, and I wrote what they told me to write, which is that I would be working for 10 minutes at a time, 4 times a day, for a total of 40 minutes. And on that pretext, the working papers were signed, and I was in. It was nothing exactly like 40 minutes. It was closer to 40 hours a day.
Yes. Well, tell them, Ruth, what was it one day like? Just one day.
One day, a normal day, not a opening weekday, but a normal day would get you there around 10:30 in the morning, where you'd start getting yourself warmed up, get your makeup on, get your costume on, get all these little good things done. You would have your first show. You would have a rehearsal, inevitably. You would have a rehearsal between show 1 and show 2. You would have your second show. Between the second and third show, you had a shot at getting dinner. You rarely ever, unless it was a real emergency, had a rehearsal during what we called the dinner hour, which was about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And then you would have your third show. Unless it was an opening, you would have that time to do what you wanted to. They did show us movies. They had a movie theater, and we saw all the latest movies. We called them previews, and if it was a movie they planned on using, you got a little form to fill out to give them your opinion, and then you did your last show and collapsed.
In other words, it was 10 to 10 was approximately what it was, 10 to 10. You did it for 1 month straight. There were no breaks or anything. You worked for 1 month, working from 10 to 10, not 40 minutes a day, if you know what I mean. So it was a rough time. And because of that, one of the girls is not here this evening. She's not well. But she was also 16. In fact, she was 15 when she went in. And she lied about her age. But she was very brave. And 1 year there, she'd had it with all that work. So she decided to bring in the union. And they fired her. Just like that. They didn't want that in the music hall. It was very difficult to get the union in there. They had such a good thing going. They had slave labor there, you know. It was great, yeah. So anyway, she was out. They rehired her about a year later, just to prove the fact that she was doing the work very well. They fired her because of the union thing, not because she wasn't working well, you know, that kind of thing.